So let's all take a deep breath and exhale. And inhale and exhale. Keep breathing. And as you're breathing, keep in mind the emotions are your direct connection to your power. And every time you have an experience that drives you into the consciousness of what you're feeling, you're being given a gift of connection and unity. The voices of culture that you are transforming tell you in so many ways not to feel your feelings. One way that those who want to take your power from you do it is that they distract. So it's why you can try to go straight at a situation or the arena of a conflict and only seem to be experiencing more conflict. And yet, those conversations that you have, you cannot wait for an outcome that you think should be. You cannot think that because maybe a conversation even ended in a conflict, that there wasn't an impact made. Today, we will command that only the most divine light shine down upon you at this time, and that the greatest good be present here. Today, we want to talk about justice and what is fair and right and honorable. There is so much dishonor in the world about you right now. You see it in how people respond. You see it in wars. You see it in disparity between men and women. You see it everywhere. And the truth of the matter is that you will always see it everywhere. It is a part of how the world is constructed right now. And in being the change and birthing the new humanity, there must be some patience and some longer views involved to help get you through those deep emotions. And that's what it is when you think about your life, is that the suffering you go through is because you're connected deeply to an emotion. And if you think about all of the conflicts you've talked about today, each of you individually has an emotion that you have about those conflicts. What we're trying to do is to train you to have this absolutely completely new relationship to emotion. And it's been a long journey for us together in bringing this forward to teach you and train you to have this new relationship and understanding and experience of what your emotions are. And the more that you can disconnect those emotions from any of the story that you think they're about, the more you're working yourself into that new humanity. You're becoming humans who process that deep connection, and thereby you reap the rewards. That is the justice, that you are fairly rewarded. And that's what happens when you let yourself feel those feelings ever so deeply outside the realm of the conversations. And we want to take Barbara's example because as she was feeling and breathing that injustice, she was processing abscesses from her childhood of such deep injustice, so much injustice took place. And yet, in the scheme of the great spiritual meaning of her life, it was exactly what she was supposed to be going through. And what she's feeling now as she releases all those feelings in her basement out in her back 40 is freedom and unification. It doesn't really have anything to do with her partner or her concert committee. That was just the platform with which she could access those deep feelings. As you get more and more conscious of yourself and more of a witness of yourself, you can see these experiences in that light first and foremost. Yes, nobody likes to be angry or hurt or humiliated or any of those other bad emotions, but there's this greater part of you that knows deep in your heart that this is a grateful opportunity to release and to feel and to unify. And while there are endless supplies of uncomfortable emotions that you can feel and breathe your way through for the rest of your life, the more that you do this conscientiously, the more you're building the rest of the system strong so that it isn't so traumatic, so that it isn't so distracting. And that's maybe the worst of it, is that all of you in talking about your conflicts today and the triggers, having to manage your emotions while you're behaving acceptably, because a part of you wants to run out waving your fist, yelling about what's fair. In those moments, uplifting yourself via your witness, to throw your arms around yourself and let yourself feel. As we've said always, it's a wave. It's a wave. Now, we have trained you that if your obsessive intellect can't stop distracting you with its stories of injustice going on around you that you think is the cause of the feeling you're having, we've trained you to use your free will to look into those messages and take a little journey into yourself while revolving those trigger bites, sound bites that your intellect has. However, what Barbara experienced in this particular revolution was that as she kept her focus on feeling and breathing, when she kept her intellect fully focused, obsessing about the fact that there will be no thoughts or projections, there's only breathing. It's like lassoing cats, those thoughts. Get them all in the corral and then some start to get up again. But by not being so obsessed about a particular story, she was able to hear the superconscious thinking processes that weren't like intuition. Intuition is going to impel you to do something. These superconscious thoughts of compassion show up more in the form of questions. Could it be this? Could it be that? What about this? What about that? So there's a redirection of the thinking. And so as you breathe more and feel more and allow yourself to be guided by those superconscious thought processes of compassion, you find an entirely new unification within you. And this is totally independent of anything that anyone is doing, any viewpoint they have, any historical dynamic of injustice with women or minorities or anything like that. This inner work cannot be broken except by you. And that's a frightening prospect, isn't it? To be so powerful and in charge. So the two most important pieces to come away with today go back to the beginning. Start over again every day. Even if you're in the middle of working a conflict and you're obsessed and your feelings are coming and they're trapped and it's messy and it's uncomfortable and it's all that, even if you're in the middle of all that, start every day new. Then bring it down to as basic of a step as you can. Unclutter the story. Use that power that you have in yourself to separate the intellect from the emotion and commit your intention to be that observer throughout the day. And forgive so easily. Forgive not as a point to let somebody off the hook for some bad behavior, but for you not to be attached. Forgive the mental incapacity. Forgive the emotional inaccessibility. Forgive everyone around you so you don't attach to them. And then breathe and feel and find that tenacity to go on with this incredible experiment that you're on in this life right now, going against culture in this way, changing yourself from within in this way with such spectacularly intricate guided inspiration that we're hoping that we bring to you. What a gift. This all leads to this self-love, this deep self-love. So we have been also very busy working, studying. More and more are joining the party. It's a sad time for some on Earth, but it's a very happy time here as families are reunited and souls are coming into this consciousness in afterlife too. There's definitely a consciousness raising on this side of the veil going on as well. But we're all working together. And we want to say in the week ahead that we want you to go into this deep, deep compassion. Love yourself so deeply. Envision yourself as a baby, a newborn baby in your own arms, and see your newborn baby's innocence and the path that they're headed towards. Hold that child of every age. Maybe there's a 9-year-old in you that's waving their fist, or even a 24-year-old who might need some deep, intense, plain old love. Just compassion and acceptance and all that is. And that will be your homework. And we will be there helping you every step of the way. So would you like to have any questions or conversation?
Thank you so much for your comment and for everything you said. I think what I take out of it the most is not to attach a story to it and not to make it a personal thing. I think that helps a lot, because especially I almost always have a tendency to make it a personal thing or attach a big, huge story to it. And if we only process the emotion without a story, that really sets us free. That helps a lot that you said that. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. And that is so correct, of leaving behind the story. And then also changing any story that shows lack or inability, not being capable, not being fair, just releasing that as well. and write some new stories. Write the story about how you are on the cutting edge of the evolution of human consciousness, and you have been for a long time, and that you're using your own life to advance the entire human species at a time in the forefront of this incredible movement that's coming to life here. Such a different story than some of the things that intellect has told you in the past, but that is the art of mastering your life. And you're doing an excellent job, by the way.
Thank you.
I have just a quick question about languaging because I think the power of words is huge and the connotations attached to them have meaning and impact. When I first started studying nursing at the university level, we were told that we were not being trained, we were being educated. And that stayed with me and I liked it because training is usually attached to dogs, dog training, animals, pets, whatever. I wonder if you could speak to the difference there.
There's a time and a place for every word. There is no need to substitute educated for every possible use of train, because in many cases it is training. In many cases, we don't mean this ugly, but it's like training animals, and you are animals, and you're humans, but so it's really what facilitates the best encompassing of the term. Your use of education probably felt more to you lateral, like it was a give and a take, rather than training might sound like a top down kind of a thing, but it's all in what one needs.
Okay.
You know, there are certain times when, as all of you have described about channeling responses, choosing language is, we agree, a very, very important piece that you can go into the art of language and using it to its highest good and studying it.
I like the word respond rather than react as well as being more present in the present than reenacting something that's, happened before.
Are there any more questions? We're going to close the channel to once again leave you with our great gratitude. There's a lot of stuff going on up here, and it's very exciting. There's a lot of changes taking place on the planet that, while they might seem in the moment somewhat excruciating, they're part of a greater change that you feel coming. And you can be assured that the force of compassion is great, that the evil is humans learning that when you make decisions for the good of the few at the expense of the many, that matter degenerates. If you keep it that simple, what evil is, decisions being made by humans for the good of the few at the expense of the many, then you have a better handle on it. It's not as some evil force that's taken over the souls of people. It's that everyone is being given this opportunity, thrown into the lake to learn to swim. And that's why we feel so called to come down, use this time to have these conversations, to instill these concepts, to give you support and let you know that you are loved and that your work is not in vain by any stretch of the imagination. You are all shining stars, and we love to watch and be amazed. Namaste.